There are many people who want to leave homosexuality, who are struggling with same-sex attraction, and they're sitting in your pews, or they come to you for help.
Many times we receive calls from pastors and they say, I thought that I would never need to call you, but this is the situation that we have come into.
We had tried a little bit of the support groups from the secular side. And of course, what they had to say was just go ahead with the way you were living. I didn't want that. I wanted my wife and I wanted my family.
There are people that are sitting in churches right now who are struggling. And because of the preaching and because of the attitude in the church, they don't dare share their struggle with their pastor.
A lot of the people that are ex-gays sit on that fear. They believe the lie that Satan is putting out that nobody cares.
We need to develop in our churches an environment that says God loves us just the way that we are. He also loves us too much to leave us where we are.
Pastors really can offer a lot of hope and help to the person that's struggling with same-sex attraction and or coming out of homosexuality.
We need to make sure that we make the church setting a place for truth, but also a place for that person to have a safe exit out of homosexuality. Many times when they come to a church setting, they're turned off, they're turned away, they're given misinformation because the pastor or ministry leader doesn't even know how to deal with the issue.
You know, the biggest decision that people have to make is, how do I announce what I feel I am? And how do I, quote, come out of this? And what reaction am I going to get?
I've heard a lot of nightmarish stories from friends that have pursued healing, and they would tell a story like, I went to my pastor and he said, well, we'd rather you'd leave our church and go to the church down the street.
Sometimes the church suppresses a person by saying, okay, we've heard that. You don't have to share anymore.
And so many pastors, I literally would go and say what Jesus did, and they would look at me like, how could you talk about that? Why would you tell someone you once was gay?
Some even say all you have to do is pray and decide not to do that. You may have heard the phrase, pray the gay away, and that was really started as a derogatory attack, frankly, on Christians.
You'll hear folks that struggle with homosexuality, they just prayed, for it to go away, and it didn't go away.
There's a lot of prayer involved, both my own, my mom's, my dad's, my siblings, my friends. There's a lot of that involved, but it is so much more than simply saying a prayer and you're fixed.
Prayer is important. But prayer is not the element of healing by itself. Prayer is a part of helping someone leave the homosexual lifestyle that wants to.
This has been a journey for me, and I think it is for most people who really submit to the Lordship of Jesus in their lives.
There is nothing I've engaged in my lifetime that has been harder than yielding what felt like an identity, what felt like inborn traits, yielding that up to Christ and going on a journey with Him and with the church.
We're to hang on to Christ, but I think sometimes we allow fear to get in there.
The fear is real that a person who is struggling with same-sex attraction has in going to talk to you.
I always felt like, and the enemy always had a weapon, if they only knew what you feel and what you wrestle with on the inside and some of the stuff that you've done, if they only knew that, they wouldn't want to have anything to do with you.
It's just really a huge thing for us to just stand up in front of strangers for the first time and share our story.
As I have shared my testimony in certain churches, many people have come up to me and talked to me about either their child or somebody in their family that used to be gay. For some of these people, it's the first time that they've even said that.
Being able to get up and share my testimony, the men that come and talk with me, the women that come and talk with me, they know where I've been. And so that weapon that the enemy had that kept me from ever really feeling loved and accepted and invited in and belonging was gone.
It gives other people sitting in the congregation hearing our stories the courage to go forth to their pastor and say, gosh, you know, that guy had courage to share his stuff. I'm struggling too.
For me, the idea that change is possible, it doesn't mean that I go from A to Z by praying a prayer, or I go from A to Z in a matter of weeks or months or a year. It means that I'm on the journey of change. Change, by its very definition, isn't fixed, and I'm not where I was 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
God can truly change an individual. I would probably be dead now if it were not for him.
I had emotional wounds and emotional needs that had created, really generated the homosexual feelings. My task then, with God's help, to discover those needs and wounds, to heal them, to meet the needs, and as I did over time, I found those homosexual feelings decreasing and diminishing.
Community in recovery is critical. Being next to other folks who are like-minded and working toward healing is encouraging. It dissolves the lie that we're the only one that's messed up and we're the only one that has the problem. And community supports and encourages one another.
We were both hurting, and we needed a place, a safe place, to tell somebody what was going on in our hearts and in our lives. We found out about this support group. I happened to be in the house of Bruce Sonnenberg, who's the president of He Intends Victory. I remember Bruce hugging me. You know what? He never asked me how I got HIV, because it didn't really matter to him. He just knew, you know, that we were both hurting.
Pastor, we get it. I understand. It's a hard subject, and you maybe don't even know what to do. But that's where we come in, to help you, to train you, to give you the tools you need to minister to that person and that family who's hurt, been struck with this issue. If you catch the vision, if you see the need, you understand this is something that needs to happen in your community and in your church, be a part of the community. We're here to help you, help those who are struggling with same-sex attraction. Let's do it together.